Hey guys, this is the Close Friends Only podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay Rosso. This podcast is inspired by my close friends on Instagram, which is my corner of the internet where we discuss life unfiltered, from worst first dates to valuable life advice. This podcast is a place where we can debrief dates, our favorite TV shows, or learn something productive from one of our close friends. Pour yourself a coffee or a glass of wine, and let's get today's episode started. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Close Friends Only podcast. I'm your host, Linds. It's Friday night. I just went for dinner and I got home really early. We went for like a 5 p.m. dinner and I got back and I was like, what should I do tonight? And then I was like, I'm gonna watch Love Island All-Stars, watch the newest episode. And then I was like, wait, I should really record a new podcast episode since my makeup's already done. I just went out for dinner. And then I was like, what should I talk about? And I kind of him and hawed over like what kind of topics I want to talk on this podcast. What kind of topics I want to talk about on this podcast. And honestly, the ones that I love so much are the ones that I like relate to, or I like people's opinion on certain subjects, or just things that I enjoy. I like to get people's take on it. So with all that being said, today we're doing my top 20 favorite girly brain rot TV shows. You know what? I wish I could sit here and give you like a laundry list of books I've read. To be honest, not a big reader. I have raging ADHD, self-diagnosed, but since I was little, I've never been a reader. I have a really hard time concentrating. Like if I start reading and I'm sitting down, my mind goes elsewhere. Like instantly, my mind goes elsewhere. And then I love podcasts and I do dabble in audiobooks because if I can put headphones in and go for a walk, somehow I can retain the information. But if I sit and read, it is difficult. However, reading is on my 2025 goals list. So we're going to work on it. Even I think if I just start like reading a little chunk here and there. But like I bought a book last summer, went into Indigo and I was like, woo, go me. I'm going to read this book. That was July. It is February. February 1st is literally tomorrow. Meaning I clearly just don't enjoy picking up a book. But one thing I do love to do is watch TV. Is it the best hobby to have? Probably not. But do I do it? Yes, I do. And the type of TV I really love, I have a few different categories I love. I love crime, thriller kind of series, like the mindfucky ones where you're really like paying attention and have to like pay attention to every detail in the show. Like I love that for like a weekend binge. But during the week, I indulge in total garbage. After a long day, after a stressful day, all I want to do is make some dinner, sit on the couch, and watch something that is so easy to watch. A brain-rotting show. It takes no attention span to follow along. I love to see outfits. I love to see people travel to cool places. I love to see drama. I love to see fighting. I love to see hot people in bikinis on dating shows. I just like it. It's a guilty pleasure. And more seasons and different shows come out, and I am all about it, honestly. But I've mixed in a few different kinds of shows, and I'm curious if you guys have seen all of them or some of them. But I took this assignment very seriously. I quite literally had to go through all my favorite shows and narrow them down to 20. And I spent so much time ranking them. So I'm so curious if you think I'm correct or incorrect in my rankings. But it's all subjective, and these are my opinions. So let's get into it. Number 20 is none other than RuPaul's Drag Race. They do RuPaul's Drag Race, France, USA, Canada, UK, All Stars. They do all sorts of shows nowadays. But if you love a costume, if you love a look, if you love drama, if you love cattiness, if you love dancing, if you like singing, if you like comedy, like you can get so much rolled into one with those shows. They're so entertaining and I love it. So that's my number 20. Number 19 is a obsession of mine from my teens, which is why it's probably ranked this high, but it is 90210, the newer one. So Anna Lynn McCord, Jessica Lowndes, I think is her name. Um, yeah, there's a few of them, but I find that show such a nostalgic show for me personally. If you're also a millennial, I love the drama, the outfits. It's a pretty fast paced show, too. Like, so much happens in every season. like, and yeah, it's filmed around like Beverly Hills and LA, and it's like very beachy, very vibey, shows like an affluent side to LA, but there's like so much drama packed into every single episode. There's like everything from like house fires to teen drug addicts, pregnancies, marriages, divorces, like affairs. Everyone's hooking up with each other, the classic. But I did rewatch that in fall of 2024, and it's cringy. It's cringy as hell, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely worth a watch. If it's just something you're throwing on again while you're like doing some computer work, some background noise, and that one's on Prime Video. But I think it's on the Paramount channel, so I think it's like a little extra charge, but it's worth it if you're binging. Number 18 is Netflix, Love is Blind. They have Love is Blind, USA, UK. They have a whole bunch of other countries now too, and I think they are also coming out um, with a Canada version, which I'll be really intrigued to see. I do like this one because of all the dating shows. I do find the contestants are the most like quote unquote normal. So that one's always a good watch. They kind of lost me with a few seasons. Some seasons are strong, some are not. But it's definitely always a bit of entertainment. People shock me, honestly. Some people, I'm like, I don't understand your train of thought. And of course, you get some men and some women make some questionable decisions, some crazy decisions. And honestly, sometimes I'm like, do you not realize you have cameras all around you and this is going to be aired out to the entire world? It's crazy. But I do like that one because it's usually people like in their 30s who have normal jobs, have like normal body types sometimes, and are normal looking people. They're not like total models. But yeah, I've enjoyed a few seasons of Love is Blind. The last few kind of lost me, but here I am. I always watch anyways. It's not my favorite dating show, but it is something I watch. Number 17 is none other than Queer Eye. I do love myself a Queer Eye moment. I like that the episodes are so short and sweet. I like that they have multiple different personalities, different like elements and strengths from like the show hosts, like fashion, home decor, hair, beauty, cooking. It's really fun to see it, and it really makes me think of the show from TLC, What Not to Wear, a little bit, except they even do more. But you're also bringing in gay personalities. Like they had Clinton, who was gay, I assume, on What Not to Wear, but they focused only on like your outfits, your image, your hair, your makeup, whereas they do like a whole rounded thing, and then also like the emotional side and like try and help people work through things. So it's very wholesome, it's very upbeat, it's really cute, and it's always a good watch. Number 16 is like a hate to love it, and that is Selling Sunset on Netflix. I like that it's like camp. I like that the girls come in and they absolutely work the room, work the outfits. There's all of these conspiracy theories and TikToks online on whether or not they're real, like successful realtors or not. But I do like the drama. I do like the outfits. I love seeing the expensive mansions. I love seeing the parties. Like when Christine got married, when they like aired her whole wedding and like bachelorette party or like bridal shower, whatever it was, and she had like tigers and a black ball gown, and there's so much that has happened on that show over the years. Is it scripted? Probably, yeah, definitely, but it's still a good watch. It's an easy watch, and yeah, I don't know who my favorite character would be. I don't know, like, sometimes I wanna say Chrishell, but she kind of has become annoying in later seasons. I have empathy for Amanza, and I think she is so beautiful. Yeah, I think I'd have to go with Amanza. Number 15 is actually a new find, and that is Southern Hospitality. If you are a Vanderpump Rules fan, you will love this. I was hesitant to watch it. I actually didn't watch it like from the beginning, and then I was just super bored this summer. And there's like the Bravo shows they go hard through like the fall winter months, and then they kind of slack during the summer. Fair enough, because everyone's out enjoying their lives. But I found it and just like binged 2 seasons in like a week because I got so hooked. It's like early days of Vanderpump Rules. Everyone's like actually young, doing their thing, working at this club. Um, and they're like bottle service girls, but there's all sorts of like stories and hookups and like other sorts of other kinds of storylines going on in the background. Um, yeah, it's a newer one. Like, I also didn't watch Southern Charm from the beginning either, and that was also a new binge. So once I got onto Southern Charm, I was like, ooh, what's Southern Hospitality? And if you don't know, one of the Southern Charm characters, her name's Leva. She's on Southern Charm. She owns all these like restaurants and clubs in Charleston, and she owns this place in like the main area of Charleston, and that's where all these young people work. So she's like the boss, like the Lisa Vanderpump, and then they have the whole cast. But I find it entertaining. I find it funny. I find the drama interesting. Again, just an easy watch. But if you're looking for like a new version now that Vanderpump Rules is gone, RIP, this is definitely a good option. Number 14, as mentioned in the previous one, is Southern Charm. I do prefer Southern Charm over Southern Hospitality. It's just a totally different vibe to the rest of the Bravo shows. Like, everyone's a little Southern Belle, have a little like twang in their accent a little bit. I've also never been to Charleston, so it was kind of interesting seeing a glimpse into what life and like what tourism and everything is like in Charleston. It looks like a beautiful place. I like that people kind of have like old school values a little bit, but there's still at the same time like hookups and drama and betrayal and older men acting way younger than they are and breakups and makeups and yeah, all sorts of drama. They go on trips, they do all sorts of stuff, but yeah, it's just different to all the other Bravo shows, and I like the characters, and I really enjoyed the show. It wasn't something I've watched for like years. I actually didn't hop onto Bravo shows at all until probably my mid 20s. So I had like seasons and seasons and seasons of this where I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. And I put in a shift over like a couple months or whatever, however long it was, and watched multiple seasons of it and was thoroughly entertained. Number 13 is such a guilty pleasure. This is a guilty pleasure within like the last year. And again, when I get into it, I get into it. And it recently just started for 2025, and that is MAFS Australia, Married at First Sight Australia. It's exactly what you think. People marry each other at the altar without even meeting. It's a really cool concept. It's like a whole experiment. So people sign up to get married to a stranger, and they have these experts pair them up based on interests, compatibility, love languages, like it's a whole process that these experts take them through, and they match them up with their best pair, and they like have them get married, go on a honeymoon, and then like go into an apartment and start living together, and then like throw them back into their real lives, like back in their real jobs. And they always have these like the experts put them up to these challenges. So it's really interesting. And then they also have a big dinner every week. So all the couples come together and they all have a big dinner, and there's always drama. And kind of like Love is Blind, it's usually like normal ish people. I think it is a little bit scripted, but yeah, it's like people who are like teachers and like accountants, and like there was one guy that was like a boxer, a social media expert. Like there's people from like all walks of life, and again, it is also different body types, different ages. Like there's people in like their 50s and 60s, there's people in their 30s. Like it's all over the map, so it's really interesting and it's really, really good people watching. Number 12 is a really fun one that was on Netflix recently, and that is Nobody Wants This. I won't give too many spoilers because if you haven't watched this, I highly, highly recommend. If you're a little bit of a lover girl like myself and you're in the trenches of dating, it's a good watch. It features Adam Brody and Kristen Bell, and it's such a good pairing. I love them both as actors so much. But the storyline kind of, it's this couple that's a little bit unassuming. They definitely have like polarizing characteristics, but I won't give away too much. But there's not too many episodes. It's super cute. It's funny. It's fun. It's deep. It's hopeful. So I really liked it. And if you haven't watched it, like you simply must. Number 11, you've probably heard of it. If you have TikTok, you definitely have, and that is Tell Me Lies. I loved this show. It is on Disney Plus, and it's about a group of college students, but it's set in like the 2010s. So, and not even, maybe like late 2000s. So, like, people are wearing like the tank tops and the low rise jeans, and they're like using cell phones like the Motorola Razors, and it's like before social media, but there's kind of some texting, but there's this couple that's super toxic, but they're also super hot, and the characters just have such great storylines. Like there's so much to every single character. It's a little less brain rotty of a show. Like you do have to pay attention a little bit, but it is such a good watch. It's very nostalgic for us millennials because it's bringing you back to like the late 2000s, 2010s, and the lead couple is actually dating in real life and they're so hot together. So many people are like, he's so meh, but like he's got something about him. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me lies. Tell me I'm wrong. It's such a good watch. There's 2 seasons. The last few episodes of the second season rocked me. It's so good. A simply must watch as well. Number 10, I thought this would get a higher ranking and I had to group them all together, but that is The Real Housewives. I do love me some Real Housewives. Again, I never got into Housewives until my mid-20s. A girlfriend of mine was like, do you watch Housewives? And I was like, no. And she's like, that shocks me. You need to. So I started. My favorite Housewives currently are, and like my OGs, are Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like this season, Dorit is on fire, and there's this new like cast member. Her name is Bose, and she is chef's kiss. She's the best addition to Housewives in 2024, 2025, for sure. I love her. She also is so stunning, and her skin looks face-tuned on the TV. It's so perfect. But I do love me some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I do love me Roni, so Real Housewives of New York. I even do like the reboot, the recast. A lot of people don't. I'm enjoying it. But I'm also a fashion girly, so like I love Jenna Lyons. I think all the friendships are a little bit weird, but they really did bring the drama. We're in the midst of the reunion right now. And I loved Brynn the first season, and then like, what a fucking 180. Like, she went from being like the most loved cast member to the most hated in the second season. It was crazy. But other ones I'm really liking as well is OC, Potomac, Atlanta, and Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City's got to be number 3. It's probably Beverly Hills, New York, Salt Lake City for me. Salt Lake City is fucked. For a lack of a better word, Salt Lake City is fucked. Like honestly, they have no mercy. They go for the jugular. It's so camp. It's so outrageous. Just, if you haven't watched it, picture this. A bunch of Mormon women go on TV. They are savages with each other. The storylines you could not even make up. It's crazy. They literally went around a table and read out the worst text messages or the worst thing they've said about each other. And they were savage, yet hilarious at the same time. So I would start with one. If you're new to the Housewives franchise, like, you gotta dip your toe in the water. But I do recommend, like, Beverly Hills in New York, you do have to start from the beginning. Those are the best seasons because truly, it's like they didn't know cameras were there. Like, they were just going about their lives like normal, whereas I feel like people, especially with like the climate of society nowadays, people are, getting canceled and stuff. Back then they were not. But I do highly recommend. It's very good entertainment. I know it sounds very superficial, like The Housewives, but it is just TV gold. It really is. There's a reason why other celebrities, like Rihanna, is obsessed with Salt Lake City. And there's a reason why. If Rihanna loves it, I love it. Okay? Okay, number 9 is HBO's Girls by Lena Dunham. That show is a masterpiece. Because that came out, I think, when I was in college. So I think, like, I could be totally wrong here. I'm just guesstimating. I think I watched it like 2012 to 2014, 2015 era. And it was like the first show that had like so many like shocking factors. Like, she talks about OCD, and the characters aren't like picture perfect thin models, and like it's just a little brash, if you will. Like, she talks about OCD, she's tweaking out a little bit, like they talk about sex so vulgarly. Is that a word? It's vulgar is what I'm trying to say. It's funny, it's wholesome, it's got a great storyline. The actors are great. They're all like actors I've never seen. The friendships are really interesting. The relationships are really interesting. But like, it just sheds light on different like mental health issues, and it's like the Sex and the City version of like actual real people with actual real problems. And it's so relatable yet hilarious. And I wish she would do more. I wish we could have more girls. Honestly, such a good watch. Number 8 is none other than Vanderpump Rules, Rest in Peace. So if you've never seen this and you live under a rock, like, there's no way you haven't heard of Vanderpump Rules. Like, be so fucking for real. You've heard of Vanderpump Rules, okay? Like, the whole Scandival thing, it was huge. Like, it was major news headlines last year or year before, 2023, I think it was. Anyways, so it's essentially following around a group of people who work at this restaurant called Sir in West Hollywood, and the owner is Lisa Vanderpump, who is a OG cast member of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She owns a whole bunch of restaurants, so she got this contract to start this show, and these people who worked at this restaurant are absolutely outrageous. Like, there are so many seasons. It follows all these people around. There's hookups, there's breakups, there's affairs, there's marriages, there's trips, there's throwing drinks in each other's faces. Like, the drama is just unmatched, like, truly. And it's like they have these like ridiculous cast members. Like, this girl Sheena Shea, like, she's so blissfully unaware of like how ditzy she is, like, and she thinks she's gonna be this like pop star. And I think now that she's older, she realized she isn't. But she like has this song she's holding on to for dear life called "Good as Gold." Like, then there's Lala, who, like, goddamn, like, that girl, she's just rough around the edges, but yet beautiful. So you just keep watching her. But the big shebang was Scandival, which was Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix were a couple of 10 years, and Tom had an affair with their mutual best friend, who like hung around the house all the time and like was super, super close to them. So it was like a huge betrayal. It was hard to watch, yet you couldn't stop watching kind of thing. And now she's killing it, like beyond. So that is a really good watch, guys. Like, it's one of those shows, like, if I could remove memory from my brain to rewatch a show, that would definitely be up there because there's so many seasons too. And it's just so good. Number 7 is one that I love and I don't find a lot of people actually watch. It's a bit underrated. And that is Made in Chelsea. I know it's a huge deal in England, but in Canada, like, really, a lot of people don't watch it. Correct me if I'm wrong though. So Made in Chelsea is a group of socialites, or like the upper class of London. So they live in Chelsea. Chelsea's an area that's a very affluent area in London. But it has so many seasons. It's like past 25 seasons, I think, and they just kind of filter in and out all these like uber wealthy socialite types. And it's just drama, but I love the accents. I love the travel. I love the like restaurants they go to, because I do travel to London quite a bit. So when I watch Made in Chelsea, I take note of like what restaurants and bars they're going to, and like I've gone to London, and even like I've seen 3 Made in Chelsea casts, and I talked to one, Miles, who was super sweet and nice. But yeah, I've like spotted them when I've been in London. But when I do watch, I do take note of like where they're filming and like what restaurants and bars and what parks and places they go to. And then they also travel everywhere. Like they go to Australia and Africa and Spain and like all sorts of different countries and film there too. So there's like really beautiful like landscapes, but it's always tons of drama, hooking up, attractive people with great accents, great style. It's very posh, but I like posh. So if you like posh, you'll love Made in Chelsea too. And there's like so much to watch. There's so many spin-offs from the show as well. All the cast members have a podcast at this point. Like if you get into it, you can get really into it and you'll have so much to consume at all times. Number 6 is the last and highest ranked Bravo show, and that is Summer House. I trust me, I love me some Housewives, I love me some Below Deck, but Summer House for me just hits different. I love the characters, the cast members they bring in. I love that it's in New York. I love that it's in the Hamptons. I love the houses that they rent. I love the themed parties they do. So essentially, if you haven't watched it, it's a bunch of people like working young entrepreneurs and young professionals who live in New York City, and they all get in a car and go out to the Hamptons for the weekend. So they have like these huge houses in the Hamptons that have cameras absolutely everywhere. And their thing throughout the summer is they just go out for the weekends and they throw like themed parties, and there's always drama. Yeah, like throughout the seasons, like there's been like marriages and breakups and house flings, and then like people who get with people from other Bravo shows, and then like recently a engagement, and then an engagement that broke off, and then the girl got pregnant. Like there's so much going on, but I love the like camaraderie of the house. I love the characters. My favorite has got to be Sierra. I just love her. She's stunning. She's a nurse slash model, like down to earth yet stunning. She is just like cool, calm, collected. She's got a good head on her shoulders. Paige is hilarious. She's going through a bit of drama right now and a breakup, but I just think that she is so stylish and cute and fun and witty, and she's perfect for the show and just for like the Bravo sphere. And it's been really cool to watch like her, like they showed like their apartments and stuff, and then now seeing like how she lives, it's like, whoa, this changed her life. Like so cool. And obviously she has a really popular podcast too, but it's really cool. Definitely recommend Summer House if you haven't dabbled yet. Number 5 is a guilty ass pleasure. It's cringy. The outfits, equally good, equally horrific. It's in my favorite city. It is Emily in Paris. I'm sorry. I know it's a bit juvenile. I know that Emily's style is horrific. I know that it's cringy. I know it's predictable, but I love it. Emily's style, horrific. Horrific. Camille, though, Camille's style is unbelievable. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm Team Alfie. Like, I do think he's so hot, and I do think he treated her the best. To recap, if you haven't watched Emily in Paris, it's a guilty pleasure about an American who gets sent to Paris by her company, and she's navigating her job in marketing, dating, friendships, traveling. It's so well executed. Like, it's a high budget TV show. The costumes, like the outfits are good. Not Emily's, but the rest of them. Like, beautiful shots of Paris. It's just like one of those shows where you're like, take me there. Just take me there. I want to be Emily in Paris. Honestly. It's just a cute, easy watch. Cringy, predictable, yes. But nonetheless, just a guilty pleasure. It's so good. I'm sorry, it's number 5. Every time there's a season approaching, I'm like counting down the days. I'm sorry. I love Emily in Paris. I said it. Number 4, there's going to be some people who agree and disagree on this one, and that is Sex and the City. I know that Carrie has become quite controversial these days. She made some, like, weird decisions. She prioritized some men when she didn't need to. If you haven't watched Sex and the City, you're living under a rock. But essentially, it follows around some 30-something-year-old women navigating dating in New York City, but it's very fabulous, very stylish, very fun. The storylines are good. Again, it was definitely filmed in the 90s, and the 90s style is amazing. My favorite character is definitely Samantha. She knows what she wants. She doesn't let men treat her like shit. She's got the upper hand at all times. She's funny as fuck. Yeah. Sex and the City, always a good watch. And you know what? Like, you rip through those episodes too. They're pretty short episodes, but they're packed with drama. And I like the storyline. And I also do like the reboot. Usually I hate the reboots, but I do like the reboot. They forced a bit of wokeness on it. Like, I just wish they didn't force it so much, right? Like, throw in some storylines that fit the climate of society right now. And Sex and the City, always a good watch. Easy, brain rotty, you don't have to pay attention too much. You can follow along, love and admire New York City, great shots of New York City. You can also see what New York City is like in the 90s versus now. Yeah, I love the movies and the reboot. Number 3, and I think it's going to surprise some people because I'm not really like a beachy girl. I'm more of like a city girl. I love the city. My favorite cities are like Vancouver, New York, London, Paris. Like, those are the places I like to be. Amsterdam. But one of my favorite shows is The OC. Guilty pleasure. It's just so nostalgic. It's got a really good storyline. It's got really attractive characters. I loved it so much when I was younger. You got like the brooding character. You got Seth Cohen, like unmatched. Misha Barton is so good. It's just like a teen TV show filled with drama, but it's like on a beachy landscape. And yeah, I also adore the outfits. I like how fast-paced the episodes are. I'm all about that. I really don't like when things drag out too long in TV shows and movies, but the OC, it's just iconic. Point blank period. I have no more comments. If you haven't watched the OC, you're doing yourself a disservice. Watch the OC. It's also one of those older TV shows that has so many episodes in a season. It's so good. Just watch it. Trust me. Number 2 is none other than Love Island. if you need a show to brain rot and admire hot people and watch drama unfold, Love Island is your shit. If there was a group of like the top Love Island fans in Canada, like top 100 fans in all of Canada, I would probably qualify. Not something I should be proud of. I watched every single season. If you ask me about any single contestant in all of the seasons, I would know. I follow a lot of them on Instagram. I have my favorites. I'm a big Molly May fan. I'm a big Maura Higgins fan. I'm a big Anna, what's her last name? V. It's hard to pronounce, but her and her sister have a podcast. Big fan. I'm a big fan of Love Island. I actually met Maura Higgins in Tulum a couple years ago, and she was lovely. Just watched the Molly May documentary. Cannot believe Tommy Fury. Watching Love Island All Stars right now with Curtis Pritchard and Ekin Su and Luca Bish. I just eat that shit up. It is the perfect thing to watch after a day of work, and it airs for 6 nights a week for like 6 weeks, I think. In the summer, I think it might even be 8. It's so highly addicting. There is a science to that show. Like, the producers and creators of Love Island knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. It's so highly addictive. And if you're someone who likes, for example, on vacation to like people watch, it's the perfect people watching. Like, you could sit there and it's just so interesting to see how people's minds work. Like, you'll sit there and you're gonna be like, okay, he's gonna go after her. He's gonna dump her and pick her instead. And or some people just throw a total curveball and you're like, whoa, what just happened? But like, you can just see how people are moving. There's cameras everywhere. They're mic'd 24/7. It's crazy town. There's always like parties and challenges and everything. Humor. Whoever created Love Island knew what they were doing. It's a phenomenon for a reason. It's addicting for a reason. I love it. I love the characters. I love the after shows. I love the podcasts. I'm all about it. Unfortunately, because it's probably taken months of my life, if not a year or two. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours watching Love Island. It's crazy. But in terms of favorite girly brain rotting shows, it is like, it's number 2. It's right up there. If you have never watched Love Island ever, go watch it now and start with season 4 and 5. UK. People are saying USA is better. They're not right. They are incorrect. The UK is better. Go watch it. Now, number 1, if you know me or if you follow me on Instagram, you're not going to be surprised by this one. It is none other than Gossip Girl. Okay, so this might be just me here. I know that Gossip Girl has like a crazy fandom. Like crazy. For me, like, there is nothing more peak nostalgia than Gossip Girl. There is nothing better than Gossip Girl outfits. Like, trust me when I tell you, like, that was airing into like, what, 2012, I think? And somehow the outfits are still classic and iconic. Like, you'd think they'd be so outdated. Eric Damon, I believe, is the costume designer, which is the same costume designer as Sex and the City. He slayed. Blair Waldorf as a character alone is TV gold. Like, I don't know, love it or hate it, I love Gossip Girl. Like, you're essentially just these rich ass millionaires or soon to be heirs of millionaires living on the Upper East Side in New York City with not a care in the world. You're drinking underage, you're going to balls and parties and wearing ball gowns and drinking champagne on a school night and shopping at like the top designers in the world, and that's just normal. And there's just like so many storylines. Like, there is high school, obviously, getting into the Ivy League schools, like breakups, affairs, cheating, Blair doing all of her mischievous shit. There's like going to college, there's marriages, there's divorces, there's car crashes, there are parties, there's white parties, there are horse races, there's Paris, there's everything. They do everything top tier. There is wardrobe, there are cars, there is jewelry, there is expensive handbags. Lily Vanderwoodson's Hermes collection alone, incredible. Like, it's one of those shows, like, if you know, you know. Like, you know that Lily Vanderwoodson's style, like, she wears, like, a white t-shirt with, like, a gorgeous, understated, quite luxury leather belt with denim and, like, an Hermes bag. Yet looks like $1 million. The bag's worth a ton, but the rest of the outfit is so plain Jane, but it's just tastefully done. I love the drama. I love the friendship between Serena and Blair. Like, and now all this drama unfolding with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni and Leighton Meester staying quiet the whole time. I've always loved Blake Lively, but I've also always equally loved Leighton Meester. And one thing I'll give that girl is she is so graceful. She literally was born in jail and then proceeded to play this rich girl from Manhattan and pulls it off so well. Like, she's just got such a classy, elegant look. Like, good for her. And she acts in real life with such grace as well. But yeah, it's funny because like there's so many love triangles in that show. But again, the outfits are so good. The filming locations are so good. It's all so good. Seeing everyone go down their like career paths, Blair becoming a princess and then not becoming a princess. Don't even get me started with the Blair and Chuck saga. I am forever a Blair and Chuck fan. It is still by far my favorite show. The reboot, shit. I'm sorry, I said it. The reboot was no good. I did like the Sex and the City reboot. I did not like the Gossip Girl reboot. I didn't even finish it. Like, that's how much I didn't like it. And that's like my favorite show in the entire world. Yikes. If you listen all the way through, I love you. This is a long one. But if you agree with these rankings, let me know. If you disagree, also let me know. If you've watched all these shows, we are girls. Like, we're on the same page. Girly, brain rotty shows. I'm sorry. It's just the way to do it. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to find me online, I'm at Linds Rosso on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. My podcast on Spotify is Close Friends Only by Linds Rosso if you want to follow over there. And I love you guys so much. Talk to you next time. Bye.